Hi, everybody. It's Kathleen from A Great Good Place for Books, and I want to welcome you to our kids' night. But before we get started, we have our own private celebrity on staff who refuses to promote herself. So we all know I am the queen of shameless promotion. So if you have any children on your list who like dogs, Sarah and her writing partner are the author of The Rescue Dogs. And we have them all, and we can get them signed for you. And then if you have any superhero girls, Bug Girl, we love Bug Girl. So Sarah refuses to promote herself, so I am shamelessly promoting her.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Yay.
Yeah, happy to personalize books. And
She would
always
love to
happy to talk
personalize
about
books,
dogs.
and we have plenty in stock. So we love to support our own. So Sarah, we're so proud of you and we love you. So
Very proud.
we will shamelessly promote you as much as we possibly can.
Thank you. I don't know if you can tell my fancy lighting, but I am blushing.
So I'm going to turn it over to Samantha, who's our hostess with the mostest.
Hello, everybody. I'm here in the store. This is not one of those fake backgrounds. I'm actually at the store. Thank you all for joining us. And we came up with this idea as a team because we realized that we weren't going to be able to do quite the same amount of personalized talking with everybody as we love to do, given sort of COVID and restricted numbers in the store. So these nights that we're doing every Thursday, we'll have 4 more, I think. Just allows us to kind of highlight some of the books we're really excited about this season. And tonight is kids books. We're going to do board books, picture books, middle grade, some graphic novels, and a tiny little dip into YA, but we might do some more YA on the fiction night. So I'm going to put Donna on the spot because she is the queen of board books. She's the one of all of us who really makes sure that that section is robust and filled with classics, but also she finds wonderful new books all the time. And so Donna has picked a few to highlight.
So I'm going to start with a brand new one that just came out a couple weeks ago. What Do Dinosaurs Do? And all kids like something to do to the book while they're being read to. So this has lots of things to do. My favorite page is the, where did this? See how the tail flips over, because that's what they use this for defense. So I think that's a pretty cute feature in this book. There's lots to do on every page. It's very colorful and everybody loves dinosaurs. So this is brand new. So we have lots of these in stock. And also along the lines of things for the child to do, one of my most favorites has slides on every page. So you can find out who eats what by sliding. And I will just show you my most favorite. What does the dung beetle eat? He eats dung. That's my favorite one. But again, colorful and fun and interactive, and kids love it. And Bath, Bath, Bath. Sam likes this one a lot, as do I. This is a fun read aloud. It's very colorful. It's got very good kids in it, but it is fun, and it's fun to read out loud. Now the day is done, done, done. So it's repetitive. You're so full of dirt, dirt, dirt. It's fun to read.
Super.
And I like the art a lot.
That one, I want to thank a customer came in and brought this illustrator to our attention. And I had not heard of this illustrator before. So I can't remember the customer's name, but thank you. We really appreciate it.
A very Merry Christmas sweater, because it's never too early to introduce kids to the concept of the ugly sweater. And this has ugly sweaters that you can touch and play with. And you can't really tell probably, but this is very squishy and fun. It's like a thick spongy material. So this is a lot of fun. On every page, you get a different idea of the ugly sweaters, sweaters that light up, sweaters that have things hanging off of them, sweaters that are holly and jolly.
Nice.
So very fun. Never too early to love ugly sweaters. Last but not least, these are not brand new, but I wanted to talk about some overlooked gems that have been hiding, overlooked. These are so fun. And I think the reason why they're not getting attention is because perhaps when people see the title, they're getting maybe a misguided idea that it's the story of, like, that it's actually trying to tell the whole story in board book format, which is not true. Each page just has one word, and next to adorable felt figures, just one word.
Nice.
I think the little felt figures are adorable. I love the one word per page concept. And I just think they've been overlooked, and I wanted to highlight them because they deserve homes.
Wonderful.
And that concludes the board book.
And I would say, similar to Ugly Sweaters, never too early to introduce your babies to the classics.
Exactly. That's my thought too.
Yes. Thank you so much, Donna. Those are so good. So the next thing we're going to do is some picture books, and I'm going to do a super quick highlight. We just got in an amazing collection of holiday books, starting with some beautiful Hanukkah books. We have some classics, Herschel and the Hanukkah Goblins. We have a really sweet new one, Latka the Lucky Dog, which is about a dog that gets adopted by a family around Hanukkah, and he gets to experience his first Hanukkah with his new family. Simon and the Bear. I mean, there are so many, I can't even do it justice. And then we, of course, have many of our classic Christmas books. We have several versions of The Night Before Christmas, beautiful versions. We've got the Charlie Brown Christmas for the classics, and then super cute new ones. This one just looks darling, about mistletoe, little Christmas mouse. So those are just really quick to highlight and barely scratching the surface. We have so many gorgeous holiday books. And Sarah, you brought some picture books with you to talk about too, right?
I did.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off with If You Come to Earth, which is illustrated by Sophie Blackall, who is a Caldecott winning artist. And the premise of this book is a little girl writing a letter to an alien that she's inviting to her home and telling them what they might find if they come to Earth. It's really charming. It's got great illustrations. And it just really emphasizes the diversity of people and things that you will find on our planet. So I really like it. And I really like Sophie Blackall in general. Another of my favorite illustrators is Oliver Jeffers. And this is another, this one is called What We'll Build. And it's kind of playing off of We Are Here, or Here We Are. This last year was a big seller for us, but he's had a child since then. And so he's talking about what he and his daughter can build together. And it's everything from, actual real constructed things to dreams. But the reason I think that I love this book so much is it's so nice to think of making plans right now and doing something and creating something and going places. So I think this is a lovely book. And then this just came out yesterday. Cindy Derby is one of my new favorite illustrators. She illustrated Outside In, which I couldn't get. It's sold out, but it's another lovely book. But Too Many Birds is kind of like if you took Go Dog Go and made it birds and then also made it environmental. It's a story of a bird who has too many rules. No running, no yelling. He goes on and on. So, and quit your crackling until there's just too many birds in his tree. The whole system breaks down. The birds try and help him by giving him acorn dinner, which he's disgruntled about, no trespassing. And eventually he ends up planting his acorns and making more trees, so there are not too many birds. It's very fun to read. It's got lots of little great details that I think kids will love in a picture book. And it makes me wish that my kids still fit on my lap.
Oh.
So I yesterday fell in love with it also.
Yeah, we all did. That was a fave just recently. Okay, a couple more board books on my end. Many of you are already familiar with this favorite, ABC Oakland. It was published by Oaklandish, and the illustrator is Michael Wirtz, and he's a local Bay Area guy. He's lived in Oakland since 2000. His new book is Golden Gate Park, an A to Z adventure. It's written, he's collaborating on this one with an author, Marta Lindsay, but same beautiful graphics and gorgeous pictures. And it's like the very first one. A is for Ruth Asawa. So this is very high level A to Z book. Really beautiful special details about San Francisco.
And will make you want to run right out to Golden Gate Park and go exploring.
So good. Yeah, exactly. And then I do have to just pitch one unicorn book because, you know, I know we have a lot of unicorn fans out there. This is very funny. This little goblin is a very serious, hardworking little goblin, and he takes his work very seriously, but his neighbors are unicorns, and they do nothing but prance around and get glitter everywhere and bother him. And he thinks they are the worst until he runs into a dragon. And then the unicorns actually come in kind of handy. So it's got this lovely little twist about how he begins to appreciate things about them. So this is a very sweet book for the unicorn fans. And then the last one I had to add, because I just saw it, I didn't know we had this book. If you're familiar with Carrie Smith's Wreck This Book series that she's done for grown-ups, this is Wreck This Picture Book. And I just scanned through it. It's delightful. It's like, how many different sounds can you make with this book? Tap on it, knock here, you know, touch this book with your nose, with your feet. I mean, it's so playful and fun. It's like, take the book outside and read it under a tree. And anyway, this one's a delight. So highly recommend. This one could be a great holiday book. Woo! And I think that's our picture books. Do we have any others? I think that's it. Should we do graphic novels next?
Sure. I brought some home.
Graphics home. All right.
I brought home Arlo and Pip's King of the Birds by Elise Gravel. She's a favorite of ours. She does the series of disgusting creatures that we love, and which aren't graphic novels, but these are like for like a beginning reader graphic novel. And Arlo and Pip are the birds on the front, and Arlo the crow is quite full of himself, and he shares his fabulosity with Pip throughout the book, and they're actual real crow facts. So it's got science in it. It's very funny. I gave it to my niece last week as her little sister present at her big sister's birthday, and she's 6 and read through the whole thing in one sitting and was laughing out loud. And there's going to be more. I didn't bring it home, but Cookie and Broccoli is also another young reader graphic novel that I think is worth checking out. I think they're going to be good characters going forward, as well as Donut Feed the Squirrels. These squirrels take over a donut truck with the help of a roller skate as their getaway car because when their pancakes fail, they realize they'd really rather have donuts. And then although they destroy the donut truck, they leave the donut truck owner with some a helpful ingredient, and he begins making hazelnut donuts, which are a big hit for everyone. Anyway, really cute illustrations, lots of fun, and just that it's a great crossover between beginning reader and graphic novel. And then I also brought home Seance Tea Party by, I should be saying these authors' names, Ramina Yi, which is a story of a 12-year-old girl who's been into spooky things and lots of imagination, and her friends are kind of moving on. And so when she hosts a seance tea party that nobody comes to, she discovers a ghost and befriends that ghost. But as things continue to progress, she realizes that growing up is really not as bad as she thought it was going to be. And she finds the people who are who are her kindred spirits and aren't just ghost spirits. And it's, but it's, I just love the illustrations. They're not finding. They're really lovely. And I think it's something that I saw in a lot of girls when I was teaching, that moment where you're not quite ready to move on, but you're ready to move on. So.
Can I interrupt for just 1 second? I just wanted to let Kitty and Annabelle know that I got their message and we have some really great suggestions coming. So hold tight. And I actually think you might like the book that Sarah just talked about, Annabelle.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I think you might really like that. So I'll see you guys soon.
Great, thank you. Okay, I have a couple more graphic novels that are new. One is book 1 in a series. This one's called Lightfall, and it's by Tim Probert. He's a new illustrator for me. I wasn't familiar with his work, but it's just beautiful, whimsical fantasy graphic novel. The Girl and the Guardian is the first one, and this young girl, Bee, is her grandfather is the keeper of the endless flame, and he goes missing. And so she has to go out and try to find him and figure out what's happened to him, and also keep the flame safe. And she meets up with Cad, who's this wonderful creature there. He looks maybe a little bit like a newt man, sort of. Very sweet guy. And they go off on this adventure together. Really beautiful illustrations, very exciting. It sort of reminds me a little bit of Amulet, with sort of fantastical creatures and a really very spunky young heroine. Maybe also a little bit of Zeta, the space girl, in here if you like those graphic novel series. So that's a new one. And then this one I just saw today. This is from the Newbery award-winning creator of Roller Girl. If you guys are familiar with the Roller Girl and All's Fair, those have sold really well. So this is called When Stars Are Scattered, and it's the story of two boys, Omar and his younger brother Hassan, who are living in a refugee camp in Kenya. And it's about, they say, heartbreak, hope, and gentle humor exist together in this graphic novel about a childhood spent waiting and how they make meaning and form relationships in their lives. It looks really beautiful and really interesting. So I wanted to highlight those two. And I think we're good with graphic novels. Donna, were there any other graphic novels that you have enjoyed that are worth mentioning? I'm a little bit putting you on the spot, but I did want to, if you have some that you remember.
Oh gosh, I am on the spot. I know that there were some for kids. I can't remember right now.
So what you can do, maybe also put it in the chat. Like if you think of it, you can put it in the chat for sure. Okay.
I wanted to say that I love the O'Connor books. The Greek myths.
Yes.
Those are some of my favorites. And I know that Nicholas, Kitty's son, who's on the call, Nicholas is a huge fan.
That's
There's also,
I would recommend those for
I
any
did think of one.
curious boy who has who just has a wild imagination and likes mythology.
and I think we have a lot of those on hand, don't we? I think.
Yeah, I just reordered.
Great. Good.
there's also a sequel to The New Kid called Class Act that just came out, and in the older category, Jason Reynolds' Long Way Down has been made into a graphic novel.
Yes.
Both of them.
So Sam, I just thought of it.
And Hildy, those would be great for the teenage boys, those last two that we mentioned.
The Jason
Hildy came
Reynolds,
on and asked a question.
New Kid and Long Way Down.
Yeah, Long Way Down would be great for the teenage boys.
Well,
Maybe
Donna,
also, sorry, maybe also Dragon Hoops. Which
Oh,
is,
Dragon Hoop, great.
I'll put the titles in the chat.
okay, great.
You asked me which graphic novels for kids are my favorite. I would have to say Nathan Hale's series.
Yes.
And particularly the Donner Dinner Party, of course, is a must read. But I just found out a few days ago, there's a brand new one coming out on the Louisiana Purchase. So that's a lot of fun if you have kids that like this series. Be aware that that one is being released when?
I think it's
24th.
24th, and we will definitely have that one. We'll have plenty of that one. So.
Great series.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. That's a really good one. All right. So I guess we'll move on to middle grade. I'm going to do another super quick scan of some of our newer books. You might already have these on your radar because we've had them for a while, but I know they're really important to the young readers. We've got the newest Dog Man, Grime and Punishment by Dav Pilkey. We've got the newest Babysitters Club, Logan Likes Marianne. And the newest Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Deep End. And The Last Kids on Earth and The Skeleton Road. This is the 6th one, I believe, in the series. So these are all, really popular. Many of you probably know about them, but we do have a lot of those in stock as well.
And coming out next week is the Keeper of the Lost Cities 8.5.
8, I love
You
that
can-
it's 8.5.
You can get on the list for that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we definitely can do pre-sales as well, like for the Nathan Hale. If you are interested, and you can let us know that. We can do that as well. Did you bring home some other middle grade, Sarah?
Well, before we jump all the way to middle grade, I have to talk about Skunk and Badger, who are my favorite duo since Frog and Toad. These guys are awesome. Skunk arrives on Badger's doorstep. He mistakes him for a salesman, but he's really his new roommate. They have a relationship that evolves hilariously. It's by Amy Timberlake with pictures by John Klassen. And there's a moment with a rocket potato. I don't want to give anything away in this book, but it really is, I think, an instant classic. I think all of us love it. I gave it to an adult friend who her favorite thing is the incredible descriptions of breakfast. It really is it's lovely about a curmudgeon and a more enthusiastic, outgoing roommate, and the relationship that develops. And yeah, everyone needs this book.
It's so good.
I agree.
Beautifully illustrated as well, as Sarah said. So nice.
I shouldn't have just shown rocket potato, but
The dialogue is really good in that book.
So one book we wanted to highlight, if you're not familiar with it, you might know that Rick Riordan has now a sort of an imprint of authors that he is championing. It's the Rick Riordan Presents, and one of the series is Tristan Strong. The first one is Punches a Hole in the Sky, and the newest one just came out, Destroys the World. And Tristan, what these stories do is they take African gods and fable characters. So they turn John Henry into a god figure, and Brer Rabbit, and Anansi the Weaver. And this young boy sort of accidentally rips a hole in the universe, and it transports him into a place called Mid-Pass. And he has to, fight really scary characters, and really exciting. Just a lot of action. It won the Coretta Scott King Honor Award. It's been listed on many, many lists of best book lists. New York Times, Publishers Weekly. Anyway, really strongly written, really strong characters, and this would be a really good series to introduce your kids to.
Kitty, that might be perfect for Nicholas. Do you see those?
Yeah. And I think we're gonna, all these things did we have them sort of posted so you can have easy access to them? I think so. Okay, she got it. Great. Okay, and then I think the last middle grade book that I have on my stack is J.K. Rowling has a new book called Ichabog, which I just love that name. This is a brand new world that she's creating, the tiny kingdom called Cornucopia, rich in happiness as it is in gold, and famous for its food, for all you food people out there. But there's this legend of this monster, the Ichabog. And Bert and Daisy, best friends Bert and Daisy, embark on a great adventure to untangle the truth and find out where the real monster lies. What's really such a delightful surprise about this book, the illustrations are all done by children. So each illustration is a unique picture drawn by a different child. This is from Clara, age 7. The whole, I opened it up and I was like, oh, and then here's Isla, age 9, draws Bert and Daisy together. Anyway, really sweet idea to have kids' illustrations in the story. So this one, I think, you know, if you're a J.K. Rowling fan, this would be a great holiday gift. Brand new book. And I think that's it for middle grade.
I've got a few.
Go ahead.
Okay. So this is Sharon Creech's new book, One Time. She did Love That Dog and Walk 2 Moons. It is a great story of friendship between these two characters, both who have very active imaginations and are slightly misunderstood. And also, I love a good teacher story like Dear Mr. Henshaw. This has a brilliant teacher that unites a whole class really through writing prompts, which are like first lines from great books. So it's short chapters, really lovely characters, and a wonderful neighborhood. And yeah, I love Sharon Creech, and this is she hits it out of the park with that one.
Nice.
Jacqueline Woodson has a new lovely book that is in it's in her sort of verse style, but it doesn't, when you read it, I don't remember them as being in verse. They're not rhyming or anything, but they're this is the story of a family who of a famous football player who has to stop playing football because he's suffered repetitive trauma to his head, and he's starting to forget things, and the whole family is struggling to move on with him being thought of as a hero when he's starting to forget his own past and even his family. It's a painful sort of novel, but Jacqueline Woodson is such a beautiful writer, and it's a really worthwhile story. It's a fast and emotional read. And then I am loving, I'm not all the way through it, Cinders and Sparrows. This is about a 12-year-old orphan who gets a letter delivered by a scarecrow and finds out that she's actually the last living witch of Blackbird Castle. And so she travels to Blackbird Castle, meets this crazy cast of characters, and has to figure out as an ordinary girl how to be a witch. And there's some treachery, there's talking marble heads, there's a crow. I always love a crow. Anyway, it's great for kids who like the School for Good and Evil or Harry Potter. Or, it's just a really wonderful characters. It's got a lot of great reviews, and I'm loving it. I don't know about the treachery, what happens with the treachery yet. I just know that bad stuff going on. And my last middle grade is Echo Mountain by Lauren Walk, it's a Depression era book. The family moves from the city to Echo Mountain after a tragedy, and the main character has to dig deep and go out on a quest on Echo Mountain. Lauren Walk is another fantastic writer. And I think this one is going to get a lot of attention. It's a good historical novel and just a good general adventure read. That's my middle grade.
That's it. Okay, well, we are almost ready to wrap up. And as I mentioned, we're just going to talk about a couple YAs tonight, but we will probably highlight a few more on the fiction night. And I want to thank Sarah for bringing both of these to my attention. The first is You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. I believe this is her first novel.
It is.
Yes, and she writes about this young woman, Liz Lighty, who's has really big dreams of going to college, play in a world famous orchestra, and become a doctor. But her financial aid that she was counting on to be able to start college falls through. And then she learns that her school's prom king and queen are eligible for a scholarship. So I think it's, my hunch is it's not sort of her thing necessarily to go for being prom queen, but she really needs the money and decides to do it. And then she meets a halfway bearable new girl in school named Mac, who's also going for the crown. So I think the relationship becomes really interesting and fraught. Looks like a very, very good book. And then the last thing we want to
it's a prom. I said it's a prom-com book, but the twist makes it all worth it. The nearly unbearable girl ends up being her date, and she risks everything. So it's got a great it's got a good heart.
Oh, I love it. That sounds great. Then this one looks incredible. I have not read this yet. I actually just started when I got here. I started looking at it. This is called Punching the Air. It's by Ibi Zoboi. It's a collaboration of Ibi Zoboi and Yusef Salaam. And Dr. Yusef Salaam was just 15. This is his real story. He was 15 when he was wrongfully convicted with 4 other boys in the Central Park joggers case, if you guys remember that happening. In 2002, after many years behind bars, their sentences were overturned and they are now known as the Exonerated Five. And this story is a fictionalized account. It's not his story, but it's about a young man, Amal Shahid, who is also wrongfully accused of a violent crime and ends up in prison. And rather than completely losing himself to rage and despair, he takes refuge in his words and his art. And this, what Sarah reminded me of was the beautiful book, The Poet X. If you guys read that one, which is by Elizabeth Acevedo. And so it's written similarly, and Brown Girl Dreaming as well, written in this beautiful verse form. And there are a few beautiful images as well, some kind of pencil drawings throughout. Really looks like an amazing book. And I don't know, Sarah, if you have anything else to say about it, but it has quotes from Ibram Kendi and Jason Reynolds and Jacqueline Woodson on the back. So this looks like a really special read. I think that might be it, unless anyone has any last minute emphasis. Kathleen, yeah.
So for those of you who know the store, know that we're very good friends with my friend Julie Buxbaum has a book coming December 1st called Admissions, where she looks at the college entrance exam scandal from the child's point of view. And it's really well done. So if you've got kids in that kind of, early 13, 14, 15-year-old YA group, this is the absolute perfect book for them. So I just wanted to share that.
So somebody in the chat asked if we talked about the graphic novel Twins by Varian Johnson.
We have it.
All right. Let me go. Hold on. I'll go check. That's the great part about being in the store. I can respond to a question. So Beth Guzman asked us to highlight this book, Twins by Varian Johnson and Shannon Wright. Being a twin means having a best friend forever, right? So Maureen and Francine are twins and best friends. But then things get difficult. Okay, this looks really good. Thank you. Thanks for highlighting this one. This is new to me. So I don't know if anyone else knows about this book, but there we go. Thank you, Beth. Oh, and Varian Johnson, she says, also wrote The Parker Inheritance. Excellent. Cool. Okay. I think we might have done quite a lot. And I would just say, obviously, if there are Any other questions you have, you can obviously include them in the chat here or give us a call or email us at the store. And anything else?
And I put Beth's review into the chat so everybody could see it. She reviewed, my brain is mush right now.
She reviewed Echo Mountain.
Echo Mountain.
Echo Mountain.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, she did it.
So
She
it's in
did
the
it better
chat.
justice than I did. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, I think we're good.
Nice job.
I want to
Steve.
thank everybody for coming, and I want to thank Sam, Donna, and Sarah, and Mike for joining us on this adventure. And next week is fiction, and I will do a whole section on very fun fun books to escape reality
Nice.
and
Sounds
tortured books about siblings.
and tortured books about siblings.
Yes,
One of your favorite categories.
it's one of my favorites.
So good.
right.
All
Good
right.
night, everybody. Thanks for
Thanks,
coming.
everyone. Bye.